Goni and Big D Swan.
What's up, boys?
What's up? Let's go.
Boys, I'll tell you what. I've brought it up several times on this podcast, but building a fence just wears you out, boy. We're starting at 1:20 a.m. Your boy had to take a hot shower, and then I stepped out that hot shower into a hot bath, watched a little Peaky Blinders, got my rankings down. I'm wore out.
That's what you watch our show for, man. That kind of preparation.
I'm telling you, it's consistency. We knew we had to get it done, so here we are. You can depend on us for your Monday morning commute. You're welcome. Guys, let's get on with this snooze fest of tight end rankings. I hate that we're having to do a show for this, but
It's for the people.
It's for the people. You need to know. I feel like the top 10 is pretty locked in. Everybody knows the top 10 guys. We're just going to give you where we rank them within the top 10, top 12. Hopefully get rid of some doubts that you're having. There's some hot take. It's tight ends, but there's still some hot takes.
There's one especially caliente take.
I can't wait to get to it. Oh, man, I can't wait. All right, let's get into it. Consensus number one is Mark Andrews. Goni and I had him at 1. Beggs had him at 2. We'll let Beggs talk on him because he was the odd man out.
I'm going to get this show started off with a doink bet. And, Wayne, there's no way Mark Andrews finishes better than Travis Kelsey this year. Not going to happen. You want to lock a doink bet in on that?
Yeah. Are you asking if I enjoy putting these big old slobber knockers right on your forehead? Absolutely. Lock it in.
There is no chance of that happening ever. Goni.
No chance?
There's no chance. None.
It happened last year, but for my obligatory statement for this to choose a side, I definitely think there's a chance. I mean, it happened last year, but I just have to go with the smart odds and take the field, man. As far as I think that Travis Kelsey, I'm gonna have to go on the Travis Kelsey side.
There's no field. I know it's Travis Kelsey or Mark Andrews who finishes better. Where's the field at?
Oh, my bad. No, I ranked Mark Andrews as number 1. I'll take Mark Andrews as number 1.
Man,
I thought it was
Goni hates agreeing with me, boy. He hates it.
I do, man. I hate it. I immediately snap called against him.
Hey, make sure that's right in the notes. Make sure that's right in the notes because you're the holder of the notes, and you had that extremely wrong.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm just going to say it, right? Lamar got hurt week 13 last year. If you extrapolate out the games Mark Andrews had with Tyler Huntley under center, you look at his games with just Lamar Jackson, it averages out to about 250 fantasy points on the year, which is still tight end 2 last year. Wayne, I'll let you just sit back for a minute and just marinate on how many times Kelsey has hit 250 or exceeded in his career. Just give me a wild guess.
In his career?
Mm-hmm.
5.
He's exceeded it 4 times. 4 years in a row. The last 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
So Mark Andrews did what he did last year with Lamar. No shot of beating out Kelsey. No shot.
Yeah, if he does the same thing he does last year. Listen, I'll tell you something about Mark Andrews. He's Lamar's best and only option. He was the only tight end with over 100 receptions. He led the NFL with the most targets in the end zone. He's the only option, my guy.
He's
gonna
not.
He is. He's the only option.
Really?
With a healthy stable of running backs.
A healthy stable of garbage running backs.
I like Dobbins. They clearly the backup running back. I can't think of his name.
Your boy Mike Davis?
No, not Mike. The $10 million backup, 2-year deal.
Gus Edwards.
Gus Edwards, the bust. Thank you. Sorry. Mm-hmm. They clearly paid Gus the bust. They clearly paid Gus the bust. If Dobbins and Bust stay healthy with Lamar in the red zone, Andrews' targets go down. They go down.
I don't know, man. They don't have anyone to throw to. Lamar doesn't throw to the running backs anyways. They literally have Rashad Bateman, who's coming into his second year, Devin Duvernay, James Proche, and Tylan Wallace. Who else is he going to throw to besides Mark Andrews?
Why throw when you can hand the ball off? Am I right?
Bro, this is not the
Come
Army
on.
offense of college. This is the NFL. You can't get by throwing the ball 8 times a game and expect to win and make the playoffs in the NFL.
This ain't Patriots in the sleet snow last year, my guy.
Right. Or the hurricane. It was the 30-mile-an-hour wind game against the Bills. Yeah.
He recorded half of his touchdowns. Now, I cannot confirm targets right now, but he recorded half of his touchdowns with Tyler Huntley behind center.
I mean, he had 9 touchdowns. He had 1,361 yards.
Yeah, how do you cut that in half? Did Huntley have the 4 or the 5 half?
He had 4.
He had the 4. Interesting slice of the pie there.
I mean,
let's just here. It's easy to explain myself, people. Mad Mob, because Travis Kelsey is a consensus too. I had him at 4.
God,
Yeah,
hilarious.
Yeah. Goney had him at 2. Beggs had him at 1. He was we all know what he did last year. Second in targets and receptions, 92 on 135. Tied for first with 9 touchdowns, along with like 37 other tight ends. Guys, he's going to be 33 in a couple months, and that's the oldest person on this entire list. That's a fact. Listen, he's got a piss poor contested pass catch rating at 10.5%. Goney, what's your favorite word when you're talking about people? Aging people? Regression. Guess what? Last year was his fewest targets, receptions, and yards since 2017. Regression. You know what happened in 2016? 2017 was the last year that he got that 250 mark. He is going downwards, my boy. Downwards. He's 33. Hey, Goney, just a dart throw here. What's the average age drop off of tight ends?
About 32, 33.
And he's going to be 33 this year. And guess what? They just went out and got Juju, who lives between the sticks. They didn't get Juju to replace Tyreek throwing downhill bombs. He ain't that type of player. He's a between the sticks player, and he's going to siphon some of those targets because guess what? Travis Kelsey is aging and regressing, and he's going to continue to do so because that's how Father Time works, ladies and gentlemen.
As an avid Cowboys fan, I watched Jason Witten, who qualified for Medicare, still be an absolute dominant tight end in the league. He didn't play with any quarterback the quality of Pat Mahomes or any offensive mind the quality of Andy Reid. He's old, sure, but 33 Kelsey is still loads better.
Why has he been regressing since he's turned 29? Every year he's gotten worse.
He's gotten worse, but he's still breaking 1,000 yards and scoring a bunch of touchdowns. I
agree.
I mean,
that's why I got
agree.
him 4. I don't have him saying. I don't think he's going to be dog water this year.
That's still crazy, though. I think, man.
Crazy. Why do we like Mark Andrews? Volume, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Travis Kelsey gets his too. He's seen at least 117 targets each of the last 6 years.
Yeah, but my thing is we like volume, and the Ravens lost weapons, which should increase Mark Andrews' volume.
So did the Chiefs. They lost
Chiefs,
Tyreek Hill.
That's all they lost, and then they replaced them with 2 other guys.
That's all they lost.
They replaced Tyreek with another speedster, who's obviously not as good, but he's a downfield speedster, and then Juju, who lives in the Travis Kelsey zone.
Wayne, bro, the Chiefs receiving core is better than the Ravens. I don't think anybody's going to question that. The Ravens might be in the bottom 5 of the league. I'm not going to debate with you on that. But the Chiefs are not in the top half. And it's Pat Mahomes and an offense who throws the ball. You're betting on a running offense? You're betting on what Lamar did with Mark Andrews in the first half of the year last year, and you're betting on that getting better. It's not going to happen.
What if it stayed the same?
Did I say they were going to ride Mark Andrews to the Super Bowl, or did I say that Mark Andrews was going to be a volume hog?
Then he'll get 250 fantasy points, and he'll be second behind Travis Kelsey.
That's not true. Hey, where's Juju going to take targets? Where does he fit into this offense? I'm honestly asking you, where does Juju fit into this Chiefs offense? Actually, let me get Goni's opinion. Where does Juju fit into the Chiefs offense?
He's going to play the slot. They signed him to play the slot. He's going to be in the middle of the field.
Who has typically done that for the Chiefs?
Travis Kelsey all day.
Do you not see a continuous regression?
They completely revamped their core and everything. I mean, I'm on board with you for Mark Andrews having a better year than Kelsey, and I ranked it as such. I just think that Travis Kelsey and the offense is too good for him to fall down as far as you have him. If I had any gripe with you, it'd be just that he's at the 4. But, I mean, I have Andrews at the 1 over Kelsey. So, I mean, I agree with you on that.
He played better with Tyler Huntley. He did. The numbers back that up.
It's a small sample size, though, at the same time. It's only like 4 or 5 games, man.
Well, if you look over his career with Lamar, right?
Yeah.
Again, if you extrapolate his numbers, you take out what he did with Huntley, extrapolate what he did with Lamar, he improved.
Still a top tight end.
No doubt. I had him at 2. I had him at 2. But Travis Kelsey, 250 fantasy points is what Travis Kelsey has done for the last 4 years.
So my question for you then, also, Mark Andrews is 26 years old. So if Travis Kelsey's done that over the last 5 years, that would put him at 27, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we can agree probably more so the prime for tight ends. So is it possible that Andrews is coming into it? And then my second question is, at what point for you, what age do you think we'll see Travis Kelsey start to regress? It comes for everyone, man.
Well, he's already regressing.
Time comes for everyone.
He's already regressing. Let's
yeah, but
clear.
I mean, for him to be comfortable not putting him at the tight end 1 spot, I agree he could do it this year again. The offense is phenomenal, and they target him like crazy. It's just at some point you're gonna have to sell in a dynasty. At some point you're going to want to sell. You're not going to want to grind him into dust, are you? And then just have nothing.
You all are all about reading between the lines when it comes to front office moves. Can we not read between the lines in the signing of Juju, the guy that lives where Travis Kelsey lives? Can we not read between the lines there that that they need another guy in the second level to take some of that volume because Travis Kelsey is regressing?
Dude, well,
yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, I mean, yes and no. I do. I think he's 32. Look, if you don't sign Juju, right, teams are game planning to stop Travis Kelsey. So I think it frees up Kelsey to work a little more in single coverage. But I do want to make a point. Last year was his 3rd best fantasy finish of his career. That's not regression. 134 targets, which was the 4th highest of his career. That's not regression.
It is. It's his.
That regression
from last year, from 2020 to 2021, he had fewer targets, receptions, and yards. The fewest since 2017, right?
What's that?
Targets, receptions, and yards since 2017.
Yeah.
Since 2017.
Honestly, he mimicked his 2019.
That's regression.
The game last year.
He didn't mimic. He got fewer.
He mimicked.
He did not mimic. He got fewer, my boy.
It's 134 targets to 136. It's all relative.
It's fewer. It's a regression.
So I have a question. I have another question. Beggs, if you are a fringe playoff contender in a dynasty, are you riding out Travis Kelsey this year, or are you trying to sell and get some assets out of him before he falls off a cliff?
I think Travis Kelsey gives you absolute, no doubt about it, 2 more league years at tight end.
So you hold. If you're a fringe, like I'd say 6th best, 5th best potentially, you'll hold.
Why would you sell him now? His situation improved.
It didn't improve.
Value.
It didn't improve.
I'm worried about the age, man.
They added another player to operate in his area. Tyreek is a downfield guy. Tyreek leaving doesn't open up a bunch of targets for Travis Kelsey because Tyreek didn't operate where Travis Kelsey operates.
Bro, Tyreek's leaving out 159 targets. If you don't think Kelsey gets any of those, you've lost your mind.
Yeah, I think MVS takes some of those. I think Juju takes some of those. Remember they went out and got some more people, unlike the Ravens.
Kelsey's taking some of those targets. Absolutely. Absolutely. You don't let Tyreek leave if you're not happy with your current load of weapons.
Let's see, what did he have last year? He had 134 targets. So what are you thinking? 150 targets? I'm Ron Burgundy?
You know what? I'm not gonna say it's out of the question. Yeah, I'm not gonna say it's out of the question. Team's gonna have to rely on him.
They don't. They have weapons all over the field. They don't have to rely on Travis Kelsey.
We'll see. Having him at 4 is blasphemous. I just don't see. You're asking Mark Andrews to repeat what he did last year. You're essentially asking him to outperform what he did with Lamar last year. Is it possible? Sure. Do I see it happening in that offense? No.
You're asking Travis Kelsey to do better. For one, it's been a clear regression since 2017. You're asking him to all of a sudden, out of 5 years of regression, to all of a sudden do better next year when they got somebody to operate in his area.
I'm asking him to meet his 4-year average.
I just like the offense and the quarterback better than the next 2 guys we have for the consensus. So that's why I don't have him at 4, honestly. But hey, yeah. Let's move on, shall we?
You a fool, boy. We ain't got to move on. Going. These are tight ends. Because let's be honest. As we get further down, I'm really not. I'm not going to be up in arms over disagreements on Mike Gizeki. I'm sorry. I'm not going to be. I'm not going to be upset if
this
Begley
is probably the hottest point.
And it is, and that's why I want to touch on it. I mean, Begley thinks that the 5-year regression magically gets better at the age of 33 when other weapons have been added to his zone. I don't. I think he's going to continue to do what he's done since 2017, regress, and they're going to rely on Juju in that second level more.
I
the young blood.
I say sell him in a dynasty.
Sell him
and get what you can.
Absolutely sell him. Sell him high.
Sell him
now.
Unless you're a contender, if you're like a top one or 2, maybe 3 guy. Well, top 4 is what I usually go with.
If you're winning this year, yeah.
You can keep him for that and everything, but aside from that, you should definitely get your assets now because it's better to be a year early than a year late, Beggs.
Oh, sure. But I'm contending in all my leagues, Connie, so it's a hold for me.
That's fine. Then you fit the bill. You fit the criteria.
Yeah. Well, you contend and we win championships, so do what you will with
that.
Consensus number 3 is a guy that I had ranked in front of Travis Kelsey by the name of Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts, I had him at 2, and I'm proud of it. Goni had him at 4, and Beggs had him at 3. Y'all want me to go first?
Yeah, at it, man.
Okay.
Yeah, you're the highest.
Here's my thing with Kyle Pitts. We all know he's on a trash cans offense, trash cans team. I get that, but the man had somehow. What did he finish last year? Tight end 6.
6.
Tight end 6. He only had 68 receptions on 110 targets. He was only one of 3 tight ends over 1,000 yards. Who were the other 2? Mark Andrews, Travis Kelsey. My thing is he did that on 68 receptions because he led tight ends with 15.1 yards per reception. That's pretty solid. He managed number 6 tight end with 1 tutty. 1 tutty, managed number 6 tight end. I feel like that's going to increase because you look at what Matt Ryan does with his weapons. He doesn't target them in the end zone. Look at poor Julio Jones. That man just would absolutely work his way down the field, and then when it came to pay dirt time, Matt Ryan was completely blind to that alien of a human being, and it didn't make any sense. So what did Matt Ryan do last year? He worked Kyle Pitts down the field, and then when it got to pay dirt time, he was completely blind to Kyle Pitts. So I feel like with Drake London, it opens up a little. I'd say that offense is going to be about as poor as it was last year, and he will get about the same work. But Mariota's going to look to him more in the end zone because that's typically what you do with your better weapons is you look for them when it's most important.
Yeah, I'll let you speak a little more than me because you had him at 4. But I agree with everything, man. I think he gets a little more red zone work. You know, man, the Falcons last year really split him out wide a lot, and they used him essentially as a wide receiver, especially after he went out. Yeah, yep. So he gets the ball downfield a lot more than other tight ends. Mariota caps this guy's potential, man.
I agree.
I mean, Will the Falcons ever? I mean, seriously, honest question. Will the Falcons ever sell? Will they ever have fans fill 50% of the stadium for any game this year? Place is going to be a ghost town.
It'll be years from now. They have to rebuild the team like crazy. They have to absolutely rebuild. This is years and years of top 5 picks.
Game? Yeah, dude.
They just need to demolish it and just start from scratch.
Which is crazy too, because they have like a relatively new stadium, and I've actually read that they have some of the lowest, which is probably why they're trying to get fans in, but they have some of the lowest concessions across the league as far as like your beers and hot dogs and things of that nature. It's some of the cheapest in the league, probably just because they're trying to get people to go.
Man, I mean, honestly, the soccer team in Atlanta is a much better pool than the Falcons. Absolutely.
Guys, I can't see him at number 2 though. Just for me, I just checked it out, and he finished 85 points behind Travis Kelsey who was at the number 2 spot last year. I know he only scored 1 touchdown, but Marcus Mariota is a downgrade. I mean, we have to agree on that.
Yeah, 100%.
He had a couple good years with like Delaney Walker when he was a Titan, but he's been, not playing football games for a couple of years now, maybe
been
at least.
Not playing, boy. Yeah,
I mean,
my thing is when you're look at the market. Look at Begley's argument with Huntley. I didn't mean to cut you off, Connie.
You're good.
Look at his argument with Huntley is.
I need to cut you off. I'm going to continue cutting you off.
A poorer quarterback. Do you mind, Begley? You're being really rude right now.
Cut you off.
The argument with Huntley is they game planned with the best weapon to give Mark Andrews the ball more. Is his argument there? Mariota is a worse quarterback. They're not going to be drawing up any downfield plays for him. It's going to be a lot of just dump it off to Kyle Pitts. He's a freak of nature. Same, but that's why we went with Drake London for that other area. He's a monster. I mean, he's huge because Mariota's just not that great.
I mean, I feel that, but at the same time, Kyle Pitts was that dude last year. I mean, Calvin Ridley didn't play for a whole lot of the season. It's not like really anything's changing with that to where they're getting rid of the number 1 target being Calvin Ridley. He was gone for most of the year last year dealing with all his crazy stuff. Drake London's a rookie. I don't expect Drake London to come in and be the majority share owner of the targets. It's just, I think he only had 20.3% of the target share last year. I think that's going to go up. They're Marcus Mariota targets, though, and not Matt Ryan targets. Marcus Mariota's not good. He's never been good. I mean, his most notable accolade is passing himself a touchdown. Well, I think in the playoffs against the Patriots. That's the only reason why I remember it. He threw a touchdown to himself.
There might have been a year. There might have been a year because I'm a Bucs fan, and Jameis Winston was in that draft with Marcus Mariota, and I remember being very salty about picking Jameis over Mariota for like a year or 2.
Yeah.
Are you still salty about it?
Not at all. Not at all.
Gonnie, I know
turn did you like?
I know you hate volume, and you prefer players of lower volume.
I don't.
How do you?
I'm just saying. I have him at 4. I'm not saying he's going to be terrible by any means. It's just I'm arguing the point of I just couldn't take him at 2. He finished 85 points lower than the guy who finished at 2 last year. He's not going to make that up in touchdowns. He'll break 1,000 yards. I agree. He's a phenomenal playmaker. He's in his 2nd year in the league, so I expect some growth out of him. It's just I don't see him getting up to 2. That's all.
He won't be 2. There's no chance of that. But his bowl is full. He can eat as much as he wants, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
My thing is, you said he'll break 1,000 yards very matter of factly.
Yeah,
there was only 3 tight ends that did that. That's not something to be just said in passing.
I mean, that's what's going to buoy him, though. That's going to buoy. He scored 1 tutty, like you said. He scored 1 tutty last year, and he finished as the tight end 6. So if you get that man to 5 or 6 touchdowns, which might still be kind of high for him with Mariota there, he's a lock for a top 5 for sure.
Okay. Number 2, in my opinion. Consensus number 4. We got. We have a classic case of reverse jinxing. He's going to try and rationalize it to continue with the reverse jinx, but we're not going to let it happen. Goni and I, it's Dalton Schultz. Goni and I both have him at number 3, and the Homer has him at 6. I respect what you're doing, trying to reverse jinx it, but
I don't.
I guess. Well, that's because you're a Patriots fan and you've enjoyed.
Got no one to rank.
You've enjoyed decades of success, so you don't have to reverse jinx. But a Cowboys fan who hasn't done anything in decades, they got to resort to reverse jinxing. And as a Buccaneers fan who, prior to 2 years ago, I had to do a lot of reverse jinxing, and it was to no avail. I mean, it still sucked. But let's hear what you got to say about Dalton Schultz. Why is he going to suck next year?
Well, I'm a little worried about Dalton Schultz, because the Cowboys are a little worried about Dalton Schultz. We franchise tagged him, right? The year he had last year, he didn't pay the man. Now David and Njoku's went and got paid, which really raised the market. We drafted Jake Ferguson from Wisconsin. We had McCown on the roster. We had Sprinkle. We signed him from Washington.
Sprinkle.
Sprinkle.
Jeremy Sprinkle. What a noteworthy name.
Yeah, right. In my opinion, I think the Cowboys get back to a little more of the run game this year. Schultz did grade poorly as a run blocker, according to PFF. I think he's more of a pure receiving play. Look, he's got synergy with Dak. I think he's a good guy. I think his targets do go up a little bit with Coop leaving. But it worries me that the Cowboys didn't commit to him. And we're paying him $10 million a year. As of now, there's been no progress that I've seen on his long-term deal. So I think he's going to be playing out under the tag. Worries me a little bit. Why would you not pay him if that's your tight end of the future, right?
I'm so confused how your arguments for some tight ends are like losing Tyreek was a huge plus for Travis Kelsey. But losing Amari is not a huge plus for Dalton Schultz. I feel like you're just kind of switching those things up because all I know is the man was targeted over 100 times.
Let me get in here with that. Oh, Beggs hates volume. The man hates volume. He got over 100 targets last year. Second thing, he's playing for his money. He's going to be so good this. You always go with those two things, man. What changes here?
His arguments only work for certain people. It just doesn't make any sense. And now that we're getting deeper and deeper into these rankings, we're just starting to find you out, man. We're starting to find you out. We're starting to just really zone in on just how flip-floppy you are, man. Lord have mercy. Listen, Dalton Schultz pulled in 8 tutties despite being, the 3rd, 4th, 5th option on that, including Zeke. That's solid. That's second most. Granted, again, there was probably how many were there? 5 tight ends with 9 touchdowns? 2. I got it right in front of me. I don't even know. 4. 4 with 9 touchdowns. Ooh, timeout. Can you guess the 4th one? You can guess 3 pretty quick. Give me 3.
Hunter Henry.
We've been doing our research. That was a dumb question. So, Amari Cooper and Cedric Wilson are leaving behind, close to 170 targets? And Dalton Schultz is not going to benefit from that?
No.
Because unlike the Chiefs, they didn't go out and get any other weapons. They just said, we're good with what we got. We're good with CD. We're good with Gallup. We're good with Dalton. But the Chiefs lost Tyreek, and they said, let's get MBS. Let's get Juju. So they're going to lose some targets. The Chiefs are going to lose all those targets from Tyreek and then pick up 2 more players. The Cowboys are going to lose 2 players, and those targets are just going to be gone to the wind to go to the rest of the receiving core.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'll tell you the difference. First of all, you can't compare Travis Kelsey and
I can compare the situation.
Well,
I can absolutely compare the situation.
I'm on record as saying I think, and actually I really got this information from a quote that Kellen Moore had kind of put out there, which was Dallas is going to run the ball more this year. It's going to be more of a run-heavy offense. It's going to rely on our defense a little more. I don't see him getting 8 touchdowns. I think the offense is less explosive in general, man. I think it takes a step back. I'm on record saying Cowboys are a 500 team this year. I think there's just regression in the offense as a whole.
Here's my thing. Dalton Schultz.
Tight end four, right? I mean,
no, 3. Or you had him at 6.
Six.
You had him at 6. He finished as the number 3 last year with Amari and Cedric Wilson there, and he only had a terrible 16.4% target share. That is not good at all for a tight end, and he still managed a number 3 finish. So you're telling me losing Amari, losing Cedric, let's say those 164 targets turn into 164 runs, and he still gets a poor 16.4% target share, he still can't finish there?
No. He won't get 8 touchdowns this year.
I mean,
Why?
He could, dude. He could. They passed the ball
You're saying
the
that
6th most last year.
He's saying that so matter-of-factly, but it's just not true. If there's 164 targets gone to the wind, something's got to happen with them, right?
So
I think Dallas as an offense has fewer possessions as a whole. Right? I think we have fewer plays and as a whole. I think the offense is more of a time of possession based offense this year. I think we run the ball, I want to say 5 to 10% more. I really do. I mean, Collinsworth's on record saying that's his goal.
I don't want to bash you too much here, but the Cowboys are in by far the worst division in football, and the NFC is down this year.
Weakest strength of schedule.
They're less talented. I get it, but they're playing against a bunch of Pop Warner teams in the NFL. Like you act like, oh man, the Cowboys are getting worse. I agreed, but so is everybody around them.
I'm on record as saying they're 8-8 or 500 team, 9-8. I guess.
Mad Mob, he's reverse jinxing. He's reverse jinxing.
You must hate volume, man. You must absolutely hate volume.
Hates volume.
The guy got 104 targets last year on a 16.4% target share. How do you not expect that to go up? CeeDee Lamb is there. Michael Gallup may miss the first couple games because of his torn ACL. You have James Washington, and they drafted a rookie in Jalen Tolbert. Who else is he going to throw the ball to? They throw the ball, like I said, the 6th most times in the league last year.
This year.
Bro, even so, you might say that, but Mike McCarthy is the coach. Mike McCarthy, for years with the Packers, was saying that he wanted to run the ball more. It never materialized. Never materialized, man. They're going to be in the top half, even if they regress. I think they'll be in the top 10 for just pass attempts in general. They're going to throw. And it just looks like it's a safe bet. He's probably going to go up to more like a 20% target share. And I think it's an easy bet for him to get there, really.
You don't pay Dak that money to hand the ball off. You've already paid Zeke his money and still thrown the ball. And now you paid your quarterback all that money. You're not just going to resort back to handing the ball off. You're just not going to do it.
Why didn't Dallas pay the man after the season he had last year?
They're probably getting out from all these contracts. They just got out from Lyle Collins, Tyron Smith. You guys are paying Zeke. You're paying Dak. You're shedding contracts, but you still have the cap hits. Amari Cooper was another one. You still have dead cap hits.
We had cap space.
I'm sure you have some.
We have room.
How much room? That's the question here.
Njoku's deal's worth. What was the deal he just signed?
They don't have the room. You can't. If you have $20 million in cap space, you cannot use it all on a tight end. I mean, it's as simple as that. It doesn't matter what the tight end is. Right
now, I don't understand why he needs to get it right now. Why don't you just play him on the?
Chris Godwin was franchise tagged last year before they signed him. Sometimes you just don't have the money now. It doesn't mean that you're not going to get signed later. A lot of people play on a franchise tag and then they get signed the next year. Happens often. Did the Bucs want Chris Godwin?
Played on it twice.
Absolutely, and we signed him after we got it.
I mean, look, the risk of the franchise tag, right, is when you don't commit to a player long term, they go looking for a long term deal, and they often spurn the team who tagged him, right? That's the risk of the franchise tag, right? So when you don't commit to a player long term before the tag, it kind of shows your hand as a team.
That might be you're hurting their feelings or whatever when the guy's a bona fide superstar and you're not paying him and you're just stringing him along with the prove it every year.
I.e.
Dalton Schultz hasn't been that.
I.e.
Dalton Schultz wasn't even Dalton Schultz was not even drafted to be that. It was supposed to be Blake Jarwin, and then Blake Jarwin tore his ACL, and here comes Dalton Schultz off the bench tearing it up. And so he has the last 2 years. He's done well. And, I mean, he wasn't a high draft capital pick, was he? I'm pretty sure he wasn't.
No. The Cowboys, ever since Jason Witten retired, man, our tight end situation's just been kind of weird. I mean, Jerry Jones has never been afraid to pay tax, right? I mean, I think he pays it. I can't remember the last time the Cowboys were under the cap. I'd actually need to look that up. They've been over the cap. Man, it's a Dallas thing. We just pay the tax. When you don't commit to him after the year he had last year, to me that says a lot. It says a lot about where the organization likes Dalton Schultz. He's a poor run blocker, and a team.
Bro, but they didn't want to pay Zeke after he tore it up for his first few years. It's just you can't be rewarding every player that comes along and has a good year.
They fought Dak before they paid him.
But you have to pay Dak.
DeMarcus Lawrence, you guys just shell out a whole lot of money and everything. It's not. They might have not had the cap space to do that. They're shedding a lot of their cap with these moves.
We pay the tax.
That's fine, but you still have to fit into the cap.
Well, I see what you're saying. What I'm telling you is, there's room. You restructure deals. You're paying him $10 million a year this year, going, and that's all that hits the cap.
You don't. Okay. You don't across the league. You don't bend over backwards to pay tight ends.
No.
I mean, that's just.
Plus, I mean, speaking on this year alone, anyways, man, where's your emphasis on this man's going to get his money?
He will. He's going to get paid, and he won't be in Dallas when he gets his second contract.
So he won't be good this year, is what you're saying.
I have him at tight end 6. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
I can't put him above George Kittle. I can't put him above Darren Waller.
George Little.
Oh.
George Brittle.
George Brittle. That's my favorite. That's my favorite.
Almost $11 million is hitting the cap because of the tag.
That's not a lot, though, man. I mean, for reference, I think.
So is it a lot of money or not? I'm confused. Like, are they paying him a lot of money, or are they not paying him a lot of money? Does he need more money? Does he?
Let me look up David Njoku's deal because I think he'll make.
I think it was 4 for 56, which averages out to 14 mil a year.
So yeah, 11 mil for the cap. I think is cheap, but you could have locked him up for a lot cheaper. I think Dallas is going to pay a premium for Dalton Schultz this year.
Okay, so he's making a premium. I'd hate to be Dalton Schultz. Are y'all going to franchise tag me and pay me more than if you just gave me a contract? I'm mad.
There's a reason every player wants a long-term deal.
Yeah, I mean it's guaranteed money, but if he's making $11 million this year and he breaks his back and never plays again, he's doing just fine.
Okay.
Moving on. Hey, y'all thought the tight end rating was going to be boring. We out here, boys. It's going to get boring. Yeah, we reached peak excitement. I'm just going to be honest with you. Number 5 is George Kittle. Boom. I got him at 5. Goni's got him at 6. Beggs has got him at 4. I'm just going to sit back because I got him exactly where he's supposed to be.
You go ahead, Goni.
I mean, I might have him too low at the 6. He's great. He's phenomenal. Don't get me wrong, but he scares me with the injuries, dude. He misses games every year. He's missed games for each of the last 3 years, and he's already dealing with a cap injury. He's expected to miss all the OTAs. I mean, he just can't stay on the field. And then you have Trey Lance potentially starting at quarterback. It's more than likely not going to be Jimmy. Jimmy passed for over 4,000 yards last year, and I don't see Lance getting to that. George Kittle also doesn't score a lot of touchdowns. He had his career high last year, which was 6. Over the rest of his career, he had 2 in 2020. He had 5 in 2019, 5 in 2018, 2 in 2017. So you mix that, the low touchdown rate that he has, his injury history that he has, and a essentially rookie quarterback on the field. I mean, I know it's Trey Lance's second year, but he's only played in a very little amount of games. It's just, it's hard for me to be excited for him and put him up into like my top 5, really.
Yeah, I've got him. Yeah, aside from his rookie year, if he's played at least 14 games, he's never finished lower than fourth. He's an elite run blocker, absolutely elite. So he stays on the field, which is really one of my biggest knocks on Dalton Schultz. He's only on the field in passing situations. A poor run blocker. Kittle's
How many points do you get for run blocks though in fantasy?
Well, the point is you're on the field more. I like guys who are on the field. I like snaps. I like volume out of my players when I'm on the field. If you're on the field, you can catch the ball. If you're not on the field, you can't.
Not when they're running it.
One of my favorite things about George Kittle though is his yak. He's an elite yards after the catch guy. He was second. He's number 2 last year on 14 games in yards after the catch. He's a guy you can get him the ball early and he can get his. I don't think he's as dependent on quarterback play as some other tight ends are. I trust Shanahan, get him the ball. I like George Kittle. He's solid.
Yeah, that's really all it is. George Kittle, the only reason that I can't put him any higher, I have my upper echelon, my Mark Andrews, Travis Kelsey, Kyle Pitts, Dalton Schultz just this year because of it, and I don't see him breaking that, but it's literally only a health issue for me. The man doesn't stay healthy, and that's the only knock on him. If somebody came up to me and said, "Hey, he's going to be in there for all 17 games this year," I'd put him at the 3 easily, and it wouldn't be any question. I'd probably put him at the 2, honestly. Anyways,
I'd put him at 3.
He managed almost 100 targets at 1,000 yards despite all the health issues. Anyways, he only had 1 drop last year, and that was on 71 receptions. And like Begley said, he leads tight ends in snap share, but on top of that, he has the second highest in target share at 24.9%. So they want to get him the ball. I mean, he's a monster, and like Begley said, yards after the catch, yards after contact, he's just an absolute beast. You have to put the ball in his hands, and they don't have elite quarterback play. And when the quarterback play gets worse, I feel like the tight end opportunities increase. Just as long as he can stay healthy, if he's on the field, he's going to be a beast.
A disclaimer, I love George Kittle. George Kittle might be my favorite tight end in the league, and he became that just a couple of years ago when the Saints were playing the 49ers. I don't know if you guys remember this at all. It was an absolute shootout, and on the game-winning drive, this man caught a big-time pass. I think it was on either 3rd or 4th down, and 3rd and 4th are long, catches the ball as he's going down the sideline. Saints defender grabs him by the face mask, and he absolutely drug this man by his face mask 15 more yards and got them into field goal range to win the game.
Neck curls.
Man, imagine being that DB. Imagine you draw a penalty just to not bring that man down.
With his face.
If I'm getting a face mask, I'm snapping your neck in half.
That guy went for a ride. If
you drag me 1 yard after I pull your face mask, I'm absolutely trying to just spin your head around. It's embarrassing. Granted, that's all hearsay, because if I tried to pull anybody's face mask in the NFL, I'd get bucked off that horse. All right. We good on George Kittle? Any other points? Are we good there?
Stay healthy, bro.
We all love George Brittle. He just
stay healthy.
Just need him on the field. Number 6. I've got him back there. I think the reason's kind of transparent. It's Darren Waller. I have him at 8. Goney and Beggs have him at 5. He only played in 11 games last year. He was on pace for like a great amount of targets, like 130 something, on pace for about 130. He has a great target share when he's on the field at 24.2%. So nothing really knocking. He only had 2 touchdowns in 11 games. That's the issue I have. One problem that he does have is he was like 3rd from the bottom with an 8.6% drop rate. Let's just call a spade here. I think he's not going to be as great because Devonte Adams is going to be there. He only got 2 touchdowns last year. the touchdowns are going to be leaning more towards Devonte Adams now. I feel like the drives will be prolonged, so he will probably get more kind of a reception increase. It's a health thing for me. I don't know if he can stay healthy. Devonte Adams is going to soak up a lot of that red zone work and a lot of the volume work. I just don't see him being top 5 this year with Devonte Adams and his health issues and his drop problems.
I mean, he's kind of similar to Kyle Pitts, right? He's split out wide a lot. He's 6'6", 255. I mean, when he plays, he's a top 5 tight end, always has been. I see what you're saying. And I did have him at 5, so I do have some regression because of Devontae. But, there's a lot of chemistry there, man, with him and Carr. This guy's a red zone monster. What do you think, Goni?
I'm not going to lie. I have kind of a bad feeling towards Darren Waller. It might have affected my ranking a little bit. I don't know. I have him at 5 this year. Last year was the first year ever for me in fantasy that I went ahead and I took a tight end early within the first 3 rounds, and he absolutely disappointed me. I was like, I got to get one of these good tight ends. I want to have that positional advantage. You thought he was going to be an absolute killer last year after the first week because he got 19 targets. You saw 19 targets. You're like, oh, holy crap. This man is going to light the world on fire. He didn't do that for the rest of the season. He missed 6 games, and he was kind of just disappointing all around. He only scored 2 touchdowns. Like you guys said, they traded for Devonte Adams. It might take the pressure off of Waller, but also the other thing for me that I mentioned in the quarterback podcast we did, Derek Carr, man, he's only thrown for over 30 touchdowns one time in his entire career. Mm-hmm. Just one time. Devonte Adams is going to get his. Hunter Renfrow is going to grab a few of those as well. And I don't see Waller getting over 5 or 6 touchdowns. I don't know.
I kind of want to Begley expand on why you're saying he's a red zone beast.
He's 6'6", 255.
He's a big boy.
He's extremely large.
So he has the physical capabilities of being a red zone beast, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
I think he's a matchup problem in the red zone.
That's
fair.
I think if they can
shift a lot to Devonta, leave him one-on-one.
That's what I'm kind of hinging on as well, because 2 touchdowns that ain't gonna cut it. It's just not gonna cut it for a top tier tight end. He only got 15 red zone targets all last year, which was I think tied for 9th with 3-4 other guys. So tied for 9th is not as good as it sounds.
Yeah, well, the Raiders had problems all last year, man. I think I told this stat before. They kicked more field goals than anybody else in the league. They had a touchdown problem.
It's because Derek Carr can't score touchdowns, bro. He throws for a whole lot of yards, but he doesn't score touchdowns.
With Devonte Adams, are the Raiders a top 5 team in the league in terms of their skill players? Josh Jacobs, Waller, Devonta, Renfrow, is that top 5 in the league?
To me, you rank players based off of wins. Are you talking about fantasy production? Because if we're talking about real NFL, then nah. But
I'm talking about fantasy. I'm talking if you look at the Raiders' skill players, wide receivers, tight ends, running backs, is that a top 5 team in the league in terms of fantasy production?
I was talking to Goni about this. I don't remember. I don't know if you were on yet or not. I think Renfrow is extremely underrated. I don't know why he's still underrated, because if you look at what he did last year, he should be on everybody's radar. And he did make our WR2s, but he was just
a PPR machine.
He was just outside. So I see that's not a dumb question. I don't want anybody to be like, it's just Devonte Adams and Darren Waddle. Hunter Renfrow's a monster. He did great.
Yeah, sure.
So at top 5, off the top of my head, it's hard to say that, because obviously the first teams that come to mind to me are Broncos, Bengals, Chargers type of situation. So I don't. If 3 come to mind right off the bat, I'm not too comfortable saying top 5, but top 10 for sure. I'd snap call a top 10.
Bucks would be another one, by the way.
Bucks.
Just thinking off the top of the head. I mean, same boat as Wayne. Possibly. Just value all around. I mean, they have two viable wide receivers there. You have a good tight end that could be top 5. You have a running back that could be top 15. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, Josh Jacobs can pull it off.
He can. There's a pathway, but he also might not be with the team next year. They declined his option.
Yep.
So
he probably won't be with the team.
Yeah, I don't know. Derek Carr, he feels like Kyler Murray light to me in terms of fantasy production. And I mean that only in the sense of that I've said this before. The Cardinals start off the first half of the season extremely hot, and then they fade. And I feel like the last 2 years at least, I've seen Derek Carr like being in the top 3 for passing yards, and then by the end of the year, it's like, oh, where'd he go?
Yeah, well, he's thrown the ball to Brian Edwards and the ghost of Henry Ruggs. I mean, who's he been throwing the ball to? It's ugly.
He had Amari Cooper one time, a long time ago.
There's a reason the Cowboys let him walk. It's hard to watch sometimes.
If you also paid him a lot, you gave him 5 years for $100 million.
We did, and I think that contract was a failure.
Bad choices.
They pay the tax.
That was like the Roy Williams contract. Just Cowboys don't.
Stop going for wide receivers from other teams, man. Just draft organically.
It's been a rough 20 years.
25. Consensus number 7. Goni and I had the consensus 7 at 7. Who threw it off? Begley, of course. TJ Hawkinson. Goni and I 7-7. Beggs at 8. Not going to argue too much on this one. We're obviously pretty standard there. Beggs, why do you have him a pinch further behind?
I do think the Lions are a better team. I think with Chark and Jameson Williams and healthy Swift, I think that his target share goes down this year. It was 21% last year. I think it goes down. I'm a little concerned about his health. I think 4 TDs is about right. Tell me something that Hawkinson does really well that makes you guys think that there's a path to 7 here. 8 to me.
Sure.
Yeah.
Why don't I? He catches the ball very well. He was tied for 3rd with only a 2.4% drop rate. He was top 10 in true catch rate at 91%, and he was number 1 in contested catch rate at 73.3%. He catches the ball very well.
Okay, and that is that's a skill, and that's an important skill. I just think his total number of catchable balls goes down.
That's a Jared Goff problem. That's not a
that's
TJ
a Jared.
Hawkinson.
Yeah,
but that's my
there was
thing.
a few games last year where he got targeted a lot, but the catchable balls weren't necessarily there. He also had the second best dominator rating among tight ends, which is the percentage of the team's total yards and touchdowns. Mm-hmm. So he's a vital part of the offense. DJ Chark is just there for the deep threat. They brought in rookie Jameson Williams, who's probably not going to be ready to go right away. Mm-hmm. And I mean, you have Amon-Ra St. Brown, who's still the 3rd option. So it's
are you not about his health?
That's it.
Hawkinson's, yeah. I mean, that's a lot of guys, though, bro.
That's the only. Well, I don't know what the problem is with these freaking tight ends, man. But I hate ranking people further back than what their talent should be based solely on their health. And that's really what it is for half these guys. But I mean, that's the only thing that scares me off putting Hawk above Darren Waller. I mean, I don't see him going above George Kittle or Dalton Schultz, Kyle Pitts, Travis Kelsey, Mark Andrews. I don't see him even in a fully healthy year competing with those spots. But if Hawk can just be healthy, the man's got hands. He's just got Jared Goff throwing him the ball, which that's why I think his contested catch rate being number one at that is very important because he's having to battle for a lot of his balls.
And that's why he can't get up there, though, is the quarterback play, the stalling of the drives, less opportunities really to score when it comes down to it, really.
I mean, yeah. And the other thing I'm going to throw out here, he's a poor run blocker. It limits his snaps.
I don't care about that, man.
So he gets 0 points from run blocking, just like every other tight end in the game. Got it, man. He's a vital part of the offense. There's not a lot of teams in the league where the tight end is your number one passing option. That's what you want. If he had a better quarterback.
And the thing is, he had a higher snap percentage than Travis Kelsey. Your clear-cut number one greatest of all time. He's on the field more than Travis Kelsey's on the field.
Is Travis Kelsey, is he going to end up the best tight end of all time?
No,
Tony Gonzalez.
No. Is he better than Witten?
Gronkowski is better than all of them.
If he doesn't come back, he's done. He retires as the GOAT.
I actually just looked this up just on the off chance that we talked about it because
I wanted Begley, to rank you gave him a segue to talk about
you
Gronk.
Guys didn't. You guys didn't want it. Yeah, thanks, Bex. You guys didn't want to talk about Gronk because, he's not signed yet. He's not signed. Like, he ain't coming back or something. Anyways, as of right now, Travis Kelsey he's only 200 yards behind Gronk in all-time, receiving yards, but he's 35 touchdowns behind Gronk. So as great as Travis Kelsey has been for fantasy or for real football, and this isn't even counting playoffs because Gronk has the second most playoff touchdowns ever from a tight end as well. So, I mean, Gronk's the better one.
But where does he rank among the all-time greats, not including Travis Kelsey? Genuinely asking.
The all-time greats?
Like your Antonio Gates, your Tony Gonzalez, your Shannon Sharps. Where is he around those? Because he's talking greatest of all time.
Yeah. That's fine. The only two that had more touchdowns than him, there's only two tight ends that have over 100 touchdowns in their career, and it was Antonio Gates and Tony Gonzalez. And I believe Tony Gonzalez played 270 games. And Antonio Gates played, it was well in the 200s. Gronk played like almost half of that. I think he was in the 140 or 150 range of games.
Longevity's a skill. Drew Brees averages more yards per game than Tom Brady.
But his greatness in a shorter time that he caught up, he averages more of everything considering he played such a smaller amount of games. It doesn't matter.
Longevity is a skill. Drew Brees averages more yards per game than Tom Brady.
Okay, so if he gets 8 touchdowns this year, he'll be at 100
than Tom Brady.
Oh, but you lost $100 on that bet.
Longevity's a skill. I mean, we've already proven that with Tom Brady.
Mad Mob. I know Wayne has Tom Brady on his team, but about 3 or 4 years ago, we had a wager that I took Tom Brady, being the Patriots fan, of course, and he was a Tom Brady hater because he was on the Patriots, that Tom Brady would finish his career with more passing yards and touchdowns than Drew Brees. And we all know how that turned out. And now Wayne loves Tom Brady.
Listen, Mad Mob, I would have won that bet if I would have put the clause in that when one of them retired. Because when Drew Brees retired, Drew Brees had more passing yards and more touchdowns. Therefore, longevity is a talent. Tom Brady out-longevitied Drew Brees. But when you're going by overall averages, Drew Brees had more. So you can't twist it and say, Gronk played less games. He did more in less games. But he's done less. Longevity is a talent.
Spoiler alert, he didn't put that clause in there, by the way.
I didn't put that clause in there, but if I had, at the point of one of them retiring, Drew Brees was better in pretty much all individual quarterback statistics.
Yeah, but that's fine. And we do this all the time, and you're going to probably agree now because Tom Brady's a Patriot. Just because you have the most numbers, you have the most – he's a Buck, my bad. I wish he was a Patriot still.
It is your bad.
Anyways, just because you have the most of anything stats-wise that are not championships doesn't make you the best. Emmitt Smith has the most rushing yards, and he's not considered. I haven't heard anyone consider Emmitt Smith to be the best running back of all time, except maybe Beggs.
He's the GOAT.
He's not.
See, this is
I'm glad
exactly
you gave that segue. Now, do we have a few minutes to talk about Emmitt Smith?
this is exactly how the tight end rankings needed to go. Is us talking about Tom Brady and Emmitt Smith and Tony Gonzalez and all that.
$100 bets and how Wayne lost them.
I thought we literally thought this was going to be a 30-minute episode. We're an hour in now, and we're getting to the number 8 because we've done a lot of not talking about tight ends.
Hey, listen, it makes the show better. No one likes to hear about tight ends, man. They all suck.
I've got to throw this in here. I have to. I can't move on until I get this off my chest. Gronk was a really good run blocker. However you factor that into the top. Run blocking for MVP.
I laughed so hard I squeezed a little fart out whenever I did that. Just thought that should be known. Consensus number 8. Can we move on, boys? Is there anything else we got to talk about, or are we good? We good here?
Gronk's best of all time. Go ahead.
All right, Tony Gonzalez. 8, Zach Ertz. I have him the highest at 6. Goni the lowest at 9. Beggs right in the middle, but closer to me at 7. Zach Ertz, last year, 3rd in targets, 4th in receptions, 74 receptions on 112 targets. He was 5th in red zone targets with 18, and 7th with a 19.3% target share. Listen, he finished as the tight end 5. I think there's going to be a slight age regression, but with the D-Hop suspension, I feel like Hollywood coming in just replaces Christian Kirk. I don't think it takes more away. I mean, you talk to Begley, and Hollywood Brown is going to be the best wide receiver next year. He's wrong. Spoiler alert, he's 100% wrong with that. Zach Ertz, I am banking on statistically him doing just a skosh worse. I'm just T.J. Hawkinson, Darren Waller, George Kittle. It's a perfect world. They're all going to be healthy. They all have to be ranked higher than him. Zach Ertz, it's just an age regression thing. That's all it is for me. D-Hop being out 6 weeks is definitely going to help him. But, you want your tight ends to be peaking during playoffs, not at the beginning of the season. That's my only issue with him. But I do have him the highest of 6. I feel like he finished 5 last year. Just a slight regression, just a slight age regression is all I'm seeing here. It's the same situation for him. He's sure-handed. He gets targeted a lot.
Johnny?
I mean, he pretty much touched on everything. I think he's going to be the number 2 target behind Hollywood while D-Hop serves his 6-game suspension. He was good last year also for the Cardinals. He came in on a trade in week 6. And he had 7 weeks of double-digit points along that time towards the end of the season. It's just, I think he starts off hot. I said the same thing about Hollywood. He starts off hot, as the Cardinals do in the first half. No D-Hop. He's going to boost his points there and look a lot better than he is. And then we're going to see the slide in the second half, as the Cardinals always do. And that's really all I got. They have a good offense. They have a good quarterback for the first half of the year.
It's almost like he did it a Kardashian, the way his career just fell off. What happened to that man?
He actually
was a one-hit wonder,
an Olympic gold medalist or a World Cup
winner? Yeah. But he just disappeared he was good, and the next season he was trash cans.
I think he's sad because he's not the best athlete in his household.
Just a little bit of a complex. Okay, I got it. Who's number 9, Wayne?
Number yeah. This is the most underwhelming one for me, and I really don't have a lot on him. It's Dawson Knox. Goni and I both have him at 10. Beggs has him at 9. Dawson Knox, dude, there's literally nothing sexy about this guy whatsoever. Let's be honest. The 9, 10, 11, 12 of the tight ends, if you're picking them in double-digit rounds, so we'll just blast through these for you real quick and wrap it up. Dawson Knox, he's touchdown dependent. He only had 49 receptions, but he managed to finish as a tight end 11 last year because he got touchdowns.
8. Tight end 8.
Yeah, he was 8.
Okay, tight end 8. on 49 receptions. Even crazier. He's just at a high-powered offense. I feel like he's going to get about the same, maybe a little bit more reception work, but about the same touchdown. I mean, purely touchdown dependent, which I personally hate. But, I mean, it is what it is. He's on the Bills.
Yeah. I mean, now that the Bills get to elevate future Hall of Famer Gabe Davis, I am worried about Dawson Knox.
Yes. Yes.
Just kidding. Gabe Davis for wide receiver 4. Gabe Davis for not MVP. Toward the back half of the year, man, his volume went up a little bit. I think he started to gain Josh Allen's trust. I mean, this is a guy that he could finish top 7. It wouldn't surprise me. Would that surprise any of you?
I mean,
yeah.
Man, nickel and diamond here. Nickel and diamond. If he finishes one spot better than his top 8 finish,
I love that Begley is our Chris Collinsworth. Whenever he talks about any player, we got to hear, listen, this is a guy.
Now here's a guy.
Now here's a guy. I'm about to say now here's a guy so loud. Here's a guy who could definitely be a tight end 7.
I personally don't love him, man. His ADP right now is the 802. So 8th round, the tight end 9. He doesn't get a lot of volume. They have a great passing offense. They got rid of Cole Beasley and Emmanuel Sanders. They brought in Jamison Crowder to play the slots. Manuel. But, I mean, like Wayne said, he's touchdown dependent, man. It took him 9 touchdowns to get into the tight end 8 spot, and I don't think I see that again, man. I really don't. So I know I had him at 9, but it wouldn't surprise me if I saw him fall back. It would probably surprise me more to see him move up than to fall back.
Fair enough.
Yep, agreed. Number 10, Mike Gizeki. I have him at 9, Goni at 13. Goni was the only one that did not have him as a starting tight end, and Beckley at 11. I have him at 9. He was 5th with 73 receptions and 4th with 111 targets. We all get that Tyreek is there now, and he's going to be siphoning a lot of those targets. I thought of that in my rankings here. He only got 2 touchdowns. There's going to be drives are going to be extended with Tyreek there. I think there's going to be a drop-off in his receptions, but an increase in touchdowns. To increase from 2 isn't that big of a deal. A slight drop-off at 73. From a skill perspective, he was the only tight end with 100% true catch rate. And we've harped on all the health issues that these tight ends have been dealing with. Gizeki has only missed 1 game in 4 years. That's good enough. I think.
Say it. I know you want to say
it. No. The best talent is availability. I think you can get great value for Gizeki. He'll be solid for you all year. What's his ADP? Hit me with it.
906 as the tight end 12.
Great value. I think you can get great value for a reliable tight end. He's not going to set the world on fire for you, but he'll be in your starting lineup every week.
I mean, I might have him too low. I'm not going to lie. I had him lower than you guys did. He finished as the tight end 9 last year, and he finished as the tight end 7 in 2020. But, I mean, they did bring in Tyreek Hill, so I think his target share goes down, his targets. He saw 112 last year. I just think it comes down. Tua only threw 16 touchdowns. I don't know. I can't say with any certainty that his touchdowns go up. I think he might just be more of a security blanket. 16. He had 16 last year. Tua did.
You don't think Gizeki can improve on 2 touchdowns?
I mean, yeah, because it's only 2, but I don't see him getting
That's all I needed to hear. Okay, cool. Beggs.
Then 5.
Beggs, what you got? Beggs, what you got?
Does that really boost him a whole lot? 3 touchdowns?
I think it keeps him about where he was last year. I don't have him setting the world on fire and pounding up in the rankings.
Yeah, but that's PPRing people to death, and I don't think he PPRs people to death this year. He's not going to have 73 receptions, bro.
Agreed. There will be a slight reception regression. I actually have that in my notes here. Regression on targets, increase in touchdowns.
Love it. You hit the right spot there, man. It's just I think they're going to continue to pass. They brought in Chase Edmonds and Raheem Mostert, but neither them nor Myles Gaskin worries me about them being super effective and revamping the run game or anything. So I think they pass more. And really, I guess it's more, and I don't think you guys do, but I think it's more of a, you have to believe that Tua is going to make the jump this year. I personally think he does. It's just how big of a jump, I guess. I don't know. I'm not really sure. But I see Waddle getting a whole lot of targets. I see Tyreek getting a whole lot of targets. And it's just hard for me. I know Gezeki's good, but I don't love him.
Yeah, he's a guy, especially in redraft, I'm fading. They brought the 49ers offense over. Generally speaking, they run 21 personnel. You're right. You got your X and your Y receivers. Gizeki, I think he had like 85% of his snaps for on the slot or the outside. He's not, Kittle's a unicorn, right? San Francisco, because he can line up, he can block, and he's a really good receiver from the flanker on the line. Gizeki isn't like that.
Great run blocker, phenomenal, top tier.
He's so many fantasy points from the run blocking.
Top tier run blocker.
He's a slot receiver that's labeled as a tight end. I don't know, man. I don't know how to feel about Mike this year. He's a guy I'm not drafting. Put it that way.
Yeah, I'm willing to be wrong on him.
You got to get the value.
Like, I'm fading him as well. I'm willing to be wrong on Gizeki.
All right, 11. We actually all have this guy as a tight end 1. Dallas Goddard. I have him at 12. Beggs has him at 12. Goni at 11. So we all have him as a tight end 1, just way back there. Goni, why do you have him not dead last as far as tight end 1s go?
Just for what he did last year, and this even might be a little high, but he finished with 56 receptions for 830 yards and 4 touchdowns. They go ahead, they bring in A.J. Brown in the offseason. Who they got for at the draft, they traded for him. So it probably brings his target share down. I'm thinking that the Eagles have to pass more this year, right? They rank dead last in pass attempts. There's nowhere to go but up. So they go up, right?
I don't know.
Overall pass attempts?
I feel like Jalen Hurts, you got to depend on his legs. We can't rank. I can't stand by where I had him ranked as a quarterback and say he's going to pass more.
No, but they even ran the ball a lot with like the running backs. Boston Scott got a lot of work. They gave everyone the ball except Miles Sanders for some reason, who is probably the best running back on the team. I know Beggs was super high on him last year, but
dude, he's got to be a demon in the locker room, right? I mean, every coach
gotta be.
He's got to be awful to deal with.
Yeah, he's got to be. He's probably Antonio Brown 2.0. That's what I'm thinking of right now. He's got to be absolutely nuts. That's the only reason why they're not giving him the ball and can't wait for his contract to run out.
Man, I know.
Because he's good. He's good when he gets the ball. They just refuse to give him the ball. So, I mean, I think they pass more this year. You have to. You're bringing in A.J. Brown. You just paid the man. You got to pass the ball more. I feel like, Goddard's he's a big target. He's 6'5", and he works the middle of the field pretty well. He had good, energy with Jalen Hurts last year. He was kind of a little bit of a go-to guy for him. So I guess really it's just, will Jalen Hurts take the leap as a passer, and will they shift a little bit more to the passing game?
The only thing A.J. Brown does is extend drives a little bit. My thing with Goddard. My thing with Dallas Goddard is he had the third fewest red zone targets among tight ends, and part of that is Jalen Hurts can't get him down the field. That's going to be an issue. The good thing about Dallas Goddard is he ranked third in target separation at 2.3 yards. So he's getting open. It's just, can Jalen get him the ball, some quality balls, which he actually, percentage-wise, he had, 76 targets, 56 catches on him. So he's catching a decent percentage of the balls thrown his way. I see Dallas Goddard being Dallas Goddard next year. It's that simple for me. I don't see a major leap happening, but I also don't see a major regression.
I think he mispronounced his name about 4 times.
Pronounce it for me. I've always called. What did I call him?
Honestly, it's quite a few things. I think you called him everything but Dallas Goddard, but it's okay.
I've been calling him Dallas Goddard, right?
Mm.
Sure, you threw it in there once.
Sure, man. Go Cowboys. Who's number 12 here?
I'm trying to build the suspense. The tight end 12 because it makes me sick that he's here. Makes me sick.
One of Beggs' MVPs.
For
you that have been following along.
I just want to throw out that Goni and I have this guy as the tight end 14. So we don't even have him the first one out. He's the second
I didn't even want to rank him there, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that was 14, and I just put him there just because I was in the bath, like I've already mentioned before, and I just had to go ahead and throw somebody in there to get a consensus. But Begley had him at 10. I think it's egregious that he didn't have him at 1 the way he talks him up. We're talking about Pat Freiermuth.
First ever tight end MVP.
Tight end MVP.
He's the greatest of all time. He's better than Gates or Tony Gonzalez or Gronk. You know why? Because he pass blocks and he run blocks.
If Tony Gonzalez, Antonio Gates, and Gronk had a threesome love child, it'd be Pat Freiermuth. I don't even want to talk about him. Begley, why is he going to be amazing?
I'll be quick because the answer is the answer is, look. Well, it's not simple. How much time we got? He's got a lot of things to look for in a tight end. He's targeted in the red zone. Wayne, do you have that stat in front of you by any chance?
Yeah, he's good. He's tied for most red zone targets. 20.
Yeah, he sure is. You know what else he's good at? Yards after the catch, which I love because you know what? Trubisky's not going to give him the kind of ball Big Ben did, so he's going to have to get his own, and he can do it. And you know what else I love? Great run blocker. Pat Freiermuth for MVP. This is a guy I'm taking in every league I'm in this year. Every league.
You know what else Begley loves? People that are on the field. Do you know what his snap share ranking is?
Not good.
24th.
He's
at 61.8%.
He run blocks so
hey,
well.
Man,
Doesn't
do you love
people on the field?
Yeah, if you're a good run blocker, you're on the field, but he's ranked 24th. Hey, man, do you love people that get the ball? Because you know where he ranks there? 23rd with a 13% target share.
Mad Mob, if you're playing in a tight end run blocking premium league, definitely draft him because you'll get some extra bonus points that'll obliterate your competition.
Hey, Beggs, do you love yards after the catch or average yards? He ranks 26 in average target distance at 5.03 yards.
Average target distance. I see yards after the catch. I see him ranked 12th.
I mean, when it comes down to it, bro, a falling off Hall of Fame Big Ben is worlds better than Mitch Trubisky, who's not really ever accomplished much in his short career, except being known as the guy who got taken before Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson in the draft. Way to go, Bears. Way to trade up for that pick and grab that guy.
Bears.
So the targets are not the same, dude. The drives are not going to be extended. 7 touchdowns. He was buoyed on 7 touchdowns last year. Do you think he scores 7 touchdowns?
I don't, but I think he commands a little more of the snap share. He's got great hands.
Why?
Because I think he's a good run block. I think he's on the field more this year. Steelers were in shotgun all year last year. There's no threat to run the ball. So he was there to essentially help keep Big Ben off his butt, especially with the line they had last year.
Bro, but there's only one ball. We always say this, man. There's only one ball. You've already talked about Najee getting his. All right, Deontay's going to get his. Deontay's usually the target leader all the time. It's going to be a smaller passing pie that they're going to be eating from this year as compared to previous years as well. I mean, I don't see the path for him to get to even where he got last year.
Not unless it's half-point pass block league.
Yeah, full point pass block. Run block, I'm sorry.
He's going to be on the field more. I think he's going to get more targets. Personally, I think his touchdowns will go down.
Beggs, can I extend a doink bet to you because I think I'm the only guy that ranked this guy. I want to say that Robert Tonyan, who's going much further back, 5 rounds further back, Robert Tonyan has a better fantasy finish than your boy, the MVP, run blocking champion of the world.
Say it with the country twang.
Pat Freiermuth.
Let's go.
Lock it in. Lock in the door.
Let's go. Take that one to the bank, Mad Mob. That's what you call a layup. Let's call it.
I'm taking Robert Tonyan there for the same reason that I think Aaron Jones is going to win MVP.
Okay.
There's just Tonyan's going to get a lot of garbage tutties. Simple as that. Garbage tutties.
And Rodgers trusts Tonyan, Robert Tonyan.
Okay.
He trusts him. He doesn't have anyone really to throw to. And, I mean, Tonyan's good. He finished as the tight end 4, I believe, just a couple years ago.
Begg said Christian Watson ain't going to be he's going to be absolutely nothing on that offense because Aaron Rodgers has to trust you. And there are only 3 offensive players on that team that Aaron Rodgers trusts. And Robert Tonyan's one of them.
All right.
Hall of Famer Aaron Rodgers.
I had to get one of those in there.
Yep. Listen, we're at an hour and 20 minutes, man. I don't know how we did that with tight ends. Just very quick, very, very, very quick. I think Goni already did it. So you're the guy that you would sneak into the top 12 is Robert Tonyan, right?
Correct.
Okay. Beggs, do you have a guy outside of the top 12 that you think could be solid?
Alberto, Broncos. Absolutely.
Okay. Alberto taking the Noah Fant spot, but actually has a good quarterback. Mine is, and I just wanted to say this because it's going to make Begley cringe. I'm sorry, dude. Komet.
Love it.
No.
Love it.
Cole Kmet. I feel like he's going to be – he's a massive guy, 6'6", 260. Great pass blocker. That offense just doesn't have anybody other than Darnell Mooney and Cole Kmet. He's going to be a PPR beast. That's it. We're done. We did it. Is the Doink Bet in?
It is in.
2 Doink Bets on the tight end episode. It's crazy.
Yeah, man.
Beggs, you going to come over here tomorrow and help me with my fence some more?
Yeah, man.
Uh,
All right, boys. Mad Mob, Twitter, @MadFFPodcast, email madffpodcast@gmail.com. If you want to see our faces in this thing, YouTube, Mad Fantasy Football Podcast. We're on Samsung. We're on Spotify. We're on Apple. We're on Amazon. Find us. Send us your questions. We're always browsing Facebook and Reddit for questions. Our question and answer podcast will probably be posted middle of the week this week. I think we're still kind of rounding up some questions. Might get it in there Tuesday. I don't know, depending on when we can do it. But that's tight ends. Somehow we managed to run this far on tight ends. We appreciate y'all tuning in. Any goodbyes to the people?
I mean, this was a lot more fun than I expected.
Yeah, I'm gonna put the link on. Wayne, can we slide in the link to my Pat Frymouth bed sheets anywhere, so Mad Bob can order those if necessary?
Yeah, I think you get a discount. It'll be in Begley's Amazon store.
Okay, there we go.
That'll do.
Pat Frymouth for MVP.
They'll be on sale for $3.99 because nobody wants them. All right, Mad Mob, we're out.
Later, guys.